Are you ready to start taking small steps to clear the clutter and chaos from your life? Every day we continue to spend in our homes dealing with the clutter around us, we are actually limiting ourselves from continuing to make progress. So, we're going to talk today about how you can begin to make changes by starting small and also figuring out where to even begin in your home. Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renae Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast. This episode today is actually going to be focusing on 20 common areas that we can declutter for more peace of mind. And this is going to be really exciting because we can make very small changes without it being overwhelming and start to make steps, even if it feels overwhelming right now. If you're living in a home that is incredibly cluttered or just feels like it's mildly cluttered, it actually doesn't really matter because the approach is going to be the same. We're going to look at this situation and we're focusing on the small steps to move forward rather than the actual big project here. So we're focusing on the routine to build and the habits that we're building and not so much the intensity or level of the situation because we can still make changes by starting small and actually having a plan in place to start moving forward. So that's what we're looking at. When we are considering the clutter in our house, you might be thinking that it's not affecting you as much as it actually is. And when we have so much stuff in our homes, we can feel overwhelmed and stressed by it without even feeling like we're giving it any thought. When I feel like I'm just like overwhelmed and I am starting to feel like things are kind of spiraling, I take take a beat and I stop to look around our house and things have built up. Like we have just been kind of dropping things at the kitchen table. We're dropping mail on the kitchen counter and that's starting to stack up. We have done like different projects or we've gone for the weekend and we've kind of dumped some things in the entryway that we just still need to take care of. And all of a sudden, these things just kind of start piling up around our house. And even though I'm not necessarily focusing on those things, I feel it. And I start to feel mm, that like unsettled feeling in your chest where you're just like, oh, something is bothering me right now. And I don't know what it is. And I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm feeling stressed. But then when you kind of take a beat and you stop and you look around, it's like, okay, all of this clutter and stuff is driving me crazy. This is the stuff that needs to be taken care of so that I can feel like I am more relaxed. I can feel that my space is cleared out and now I can focus on what's most important. But if we're not actually taking the time to stop and look at that, we might just be continuing and feeling like we're just spiraling out of control without actually taking time to realize why. And I can give you a good hint that clutter might be a big cause of how you're feeling. So when we're looking at clutter, like I said, it doesn't matter if you are somebody that has a ton of clutter or just a little bit. It's still going to affect you internally, even if you're not fully aware of it. So, what we want to look at is we want to look at how much clutter do we have? Like, what areas of our homes do need to be decluttered? And what you can do is you can grab a piece of paper and you can just start writing this down. I do have 20 ideas for you in this episode to look at. But before we even go through those, it would be a good idea for you to grab a piece of paper and just start writing down any area in your home that you can think of. And then when I go through the list of 20, and some of those aren't on your list yet, you can see if they resonate with you and if you want to add them to your list. So if you want, go ahead and pause the episode and just start writing down any area in your home that you feel like could be decluttered and you want to go through at some point. So once you have your list, whether you take the list of 20 ideas that I have here for you today, or you have your own list, what you're going to do next is you're going to choose what is the highest priority for you. Because when we're looking at a list of all these areas to declutter, it can feel incredibly stressful because it's like, how on earth am I going to have enough time to get to all of these places? And then when you're opening up a closet because the closet is on the list for you, all of a sudden it's like, this is going to take me hours. I'm just going to wait until I have a day, like a Saturday open, and then I'll tackle this. And all of a sudden, no Saturday is open because we're always busy with something and something always fills our time unless we have something else planned and we actually have set aside the time to do this decluttering. And all of a sudden, we've gone months without tackling this closet, but it's still bothering us. So, what we want to do is we want to really look at what areas are our highest priority, and then we're going to break it down from there and make it into smaller steps. So, what we're looking at when we're looking at choosing what is the highest priority, you might be asking, well, what is the highest priority? Is it what people can see? Is it what feels the most cluttered to me? Like, what is actually going to be your highest priority? And this is going to be different for each person because this is a personal preference. You have to decide what is your highest priority for questions. You might be asking, what makes you feel the most overwhelmed when you see that cluttered space? Or what area in your home is preventing you from getting something done. So, something like that might be a cluttered desk is preventing you from getting a good day of work in, or it might be preventing you from working at all. A messy kitchen counter might be preventing you from cooking or meal prepping or even just cleaning up the rest of your kitchen because it just feels so messy in there. Scattered clothes in your room might be preventing you from having a peaceful night's rest because you're going to bed and like having that last frustrating thought before you climb into bed about how your room is such a mess and it really needs to be clean. And now you're going to bed feeling frustrated about the mess. But what we want to be doing is we want to be walking into our bedroom and feeling like settled. We want it to be a place of rest and lightness. We don't want to be going to bed feeling frustrated. Another area that you can consider is your laundry room. Are there piles of laundry where you can't really tell what's clean and what's dirty? And is that preventing you from keeping up with your laundry because it's just frustrating to go in there and deal with the mess? So, these are the types of things that you're looking at when you're asking these questions. You really want to dive into like what is actually bothering you, what is making you feel overwhelmed, and what it might be preventing you from getting something done that you've been trying to get done. And those are going to be the higher priority areas that you're really going to want to focus on. And then once you choose those higher priority items, you're going to want to break it down into like doable steps. So if you're looking at your laundry room, you might look at your laundry room and say, okay, this whole space needs to be decluttered. But instead, so that it's not overwhelming, you can look at it and just say, okay, I have 10 minutes. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to focus on the laundry detergent area. And then you set your timer for 10 minutes and you go through and you clean that area out. You get rid of the trash. You combine any can or like containers that need to be combined that you can get rid of some of the junk. You can go through any, if you have like buttons or anything that has come off of your laundry and coins that have come out of pockets, like all that little random stuff that tends to accumulate in a laundry room, like those are the things that you're just going to get rid of during this time frame. So you can focus on just that one space and make it a small space so it's easier to do quickly. Or you could just set your timer for 10 minutes and say, I'm going to do as much as I possibly can in 10 minutes. And then I'll like work on this area again tomorrow for another 10 minutes until it's done. And that is what you're kind of doing is you're looking at a bigger space and you're breaking it down into smaller chunks. So that might be your first day of what you're looking at doing in the laundry room. And then the next day, say you got the laundry, laundry detergent area done the day before, you're going in there the next day and it's like, okay, now I'm going to organize the baskets. I want to know where my dirty laundry is. I want to know where the clean laundry is. I want to just have a space so that when laundry comes in, I know exactly which basket it needs to go into. If you don't already have that set up, go ahead and set that up the next day and get it kind of organized. And then you're just continuing to break it down until your laundry room has been decluttered. So it might take one day, it might take several days, it might take a whole week, it might even take 2 weeks to get this space decluttered. But you're doing it in small, doable chunks that it doesn't feel overwhelming, where you're going in and just getting completely overwhelmed with this space. So another area might be like your living space. Instead of going and decluttering your entire, say your living room, instead of going in and doing that whole space, break it down into, doing the coffee table and then do the end tables and then do a bookshelf that's in there. And if it's really overwhelming and your bookshelf is just kind of a nightmare, don't even do the whole bookshelf at once. Do one shelf. And then the next day, do the next shelf. And the next day, do the next shelf. And just keep breaking it down into smaller projects so that you can make progress without feeling overwhelmed. So that is what you're looking at doing, is choosing those high priority areas and then breaking down the project so that it feels more doable. And like I said, you can focus on just that small space, or you can focus on a time frame so that you don't feel stuck. And if the bookshelf itself is overwhelming to you, but you're not sure how much you can get done, then instead of saying just the one shelf or doing the whole bookshelf at once, set your timer and say, okay, whatever I can get done in this 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever you have, just tackle it. And maybe you'll get one or two shelves done, maybe you'll get the entire bookshelf done. But when that timer goes off, you know you did as much as you possibly could do. And now you're done for the day and you can move on and you are continuing to make progress through this time frame. So this is where it gets really cool. And I would challenge you to take from your list and just challenge yourself to do one area a day for a week. And just start there. And if you like it and you want to keep going, then continue through your list for the next week and for the next priority items. And just keep going until you get all the way through your list, or break it up. Like, just start with that week. And if that feels like a lot, like, okay, I got through a week, but I can't sustain doing something every day of the week. What can you sustain? Can you do something every Monday? Can you do something, on, you know, just the weekends where it's just, Saturday morning, I can do a good chunk and that's what I'm committing to. Or I want to do it on Wednesdays before we get ready for bed. Let's just take some time to declutter something before we get ready for bed. Like, you can do whatever you want and whatever works best for you. But I would challenge you to challenge yourself and decide what you are able to commit to and stick to it, because you're making that promise to yourself, and just taking these really small steps will help you begin to make that progress. So you've been waiting for the list. Like, we want to go through the list of 20 areas that you kind of want to think about. So if you have taken the time to sit down and write out your list, that is great. And now I'm going to give you 20 more ideas that you maybe didn't think of yet. Now, these are kind of more generalized areas. Like I said, if this feels too big as a one-time project, break these areas down into smaller sections. That will help a ton, and you will still make progress by just starting small. So the kitchen, I kind of broke these up by areas and then some like focuses within that area. It'll make sense once I start reading these. So, kitchen area is kitchen counters, the dining room table, pantry or kitchen cupboards, the fridge, and if you have any drop zones in your kitchen, like maybe a mail holder or, the key drops, things like that, that tend to accumulate a lot of stuff. So, like I said, break these down. If you're looking at the pantry or kitchen cupboards, like instead of just focusing on the full pantry, break it down into sections of the pantry. Instead of focusing on cleaning out all of your kitchen cupboards, focus on just one cupboard at a time. And if even that feels overwhelming, just open your cupboard and break it up into shelves. If your cupboard has two shelves on it, then focus on one shelf at a time. If your cupboard has three shelves, focus on one shelf at a time and get that done over the course of 3 days. Even if it takes you longer, you're still making progress. So it's better to break it up into smaller sections and make that progress rather than feeling overwhelmed and doing nothing at all, right? So we want to break these areas down into smaller, doable sections and just sticking with it. Okay, moving on to the living spaces. So this could be any living space within your home. You could do bookshelves, toy areas, blanket storage, coffee tables, end tables, any furniture that has decorative pieces or trinkets or anything like that on it. Also, entryways with shoes and jackets and scarves and hats and mittens, all of those spaces in your entryways, those are all areas that you can focus on and then break down into smaller sections. For bathrooms, you've got medicine cabinets, linen closets, vanity cabinets like under the sink cupboards, daily essentials areas where you're keeping your hair care and your oral care and anything like that. Your essentials that you're using tend to kind of accumulate stuff where we might want to sort those out and clean those out. For bedroom areas, it's closets, tops of dressers, in your dressers, nightstands, bookshelves, anything like that that is in your bedroom, those are areas that you might want to consider focusing on decluttering. Now, if you are wanting some more help focusing on like that 10-minute declutter hunt, that is something that I do cover in episode 51. It's just a simple 10-minute routine to help you declutter and get rid of the junk. This is going to help break it down. That episode will help break down that system a little bit more to give you some more guidelines to get started if you are feeling like you need just a little bit more help to get this into place, because this one is more of just an idea. This episode focuses more on the idea of focusing and choosing those areas, where episode 51 is going to help you kind of more in the actual routine and building the habit and the routine to actually go through this process. So that is what I have for you today. And I will do a quick recap for you so that you can get organized in this area and get your list together, get your priorities chosen, and then move on and start making progress by tackling those small areas first and feeling really, really good about it, because eventually you are going to find that this just relieves so much decision fatigue and stress that you don't even realize is there because of the clutter. So, this is going to be really great for you. And I'm excited for you to start making these small changes that will support you being able to have the energy to sustain your other routines. So let's go ahead and recap. We're number one, you want to look at your home and you want to put together a list of all of the areas you would like to declutter or areas that are feeling disorganized. And like I said, you are going to want to put your own list together, or you can take my ideas. And I will very, very quickly run through those again so that you have them. Kitchen so kitchen counters, dining room table, pantry or kitchen cupboards, fridge, or any drop zone areas. In living spaces, you're looking at bookshelves, toy areas, blanket storage, coffee tables, end tables, any furniture with decorative items or trinkets on them. Entryways, you're looking at those shoes and jackets areas, things like that. In the bathrooms, medicine cabinets, linen closets, vanities, cupboards like under the sink cupboards, or any daily essential areas. And bedrooms is closets, tops of dressers, nightstands, bookshelves, anything like that. And then once you have your list together, you're going to move to step two, which is choosing which areas on your list are the highest priority areas for you to feel more focused and at ease. And some questions you might ask yourself while you're looking for these higher priority areas are: which areas are making you feel overwhelmed? Which area might be preventing you from getting something done, like a cluttered desk for work or those messy kitchen counters for cooking, things like that. And then step 3 is to challenge yourself to start by just tackling one small section a day or focusing on just doing 10 minutes a day or something like that. You want to choose the challenge for yourself and just break down one of those areas into smaller sections and focus on one section a day or whatever time frame that you choose for yourself. And then you can continue this by just doing that one section and continuing over and over and working your way through your list, because this is going to start helping you make progress by starting small. I hope you take that and you run with it and you start making those changes in your home, because it is going to feel so much better. Because once you start decluttering, you will feel more at ease and you really truly will have more peace of mind. Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.